a number of things, including record an introductory video and do some of my own writing. But I'm not quite there yet. But I spent a lot of time with family. Avery came into town, had Christmas, 23rd birthday. Asked her when she was going to get a job, and she was like, you know.
At least she has some work experience finally.
Yeah, exactly. Her next job may be my next movie. I don't know.
I mean, what's funny is there's not a lot of script supervisors in her neck of the woods. There's a lot of back and forth to LA as a result.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a there if she wants to like really build up her experience.
Well, sure. Hello, Erwin. How are you?
Good.
What are Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Erwin. Happy New Year.
We're talking about, my daughter, because she's entering somewhat film. I made a movie last year.
Wow.
And she was working on set, as was Danny, who got a script supervisor credit. And so, hooray.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I trained Avery in the trade.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll want to do more of that.
Oh, Avery is
my daughter.
Daughter?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
My daughter.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what's going on with the movie now? Is it in the can, as they say?
I mean, sure.
I mean, it's definitely at least assembled from the emails I've gotten from production.
Yeah.
Because there were some convos about where stuff was for the assembly.
Yeah.
And
according to an article I read in Hollywood Reporter, it has relaunched Armie Hammer's career, and I say, hooray!
Yeah, according to Armie Hammer's Wikipedia page, it says that too. So his
did a great there we go. There. I'll take all the press I can get.
That's more of an Armie Hammer press thing, and not a Preston Pulcher press thing.
I'm riding the coattail as far as it gets me. I'm clinging on for dear life. So
he's a really good guy to work with.
Yeah.
And as far as Hollywood people with weird drama go, his drama was not during work.
No.
Like, he's no Kevin Spacey, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Or Alec Baldwin.
No, yeah.
And so I'm okay with him getting work. Seems like a nice guy. He's really chill to work with. I can see why he was getting work before. And I certainly wouldn't want to see him homeless.
Huh?
Exactly.
Okay. Sounds like he needed work.
Oh, he definitely needed work.
Yes. But
like, he got really left out.
But look, it's like we have there's a little sandwich place here in North Texas called Potbelly.
Yeah.
And for a long time, they may have some down in your neck of the woods down in Austin.
Yeah.
But for a long time, there was a slogan they had, get in here before we both starve. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Well, you're only saying that because it's pretty funny.
Yeah. And in Armie Hammer's case, look, he's an actor. He wanted to act, and we were movie makers, and we wanted to make movies, and we worked it out. And hooray,
Yeah.
So
cool. What is the movie?
Frontier Crucible.
Oh, okay.
Here, all right. I'll go ahead and share. I showed.
I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be sharing that.
Well, I'm gonna show them the IMDb page.
Oh yes, you can definitely
IMDb
share that
page. I created a movie poster, and they have not used it. They just so this is just the logo that Diane Tran created.
The pre-pro logo.
Yeah, that's the pre-pro logo. But there it is in post-production. There's our cast.
Preston, you can upload your poster even if it's not official.
Oh, I can. Well, shit.
I wouldn't do that without talking to everybody.
Then I will not do that. Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard. If you
Okay.
you just need to have an account. You sign into your account, and
I
then
do
you just
have an
say,
account.
Yeah, like if you
Upload.
look at Crew, like I put my name on it. I'm proud of this work.
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because a
And
lot of times they
Avery,
don't.
I think Avery's name is on it too.
Is it really? Oh, that's
I may or
right.
may I don't
All right,
remember
let's go
if I
ahead and
added her to
come
the
down
script
here
department.
to all cast and
I
crew.
may not have added her.
Um,
She should add herself if
She should. Produced by
oh, there, Preston Poulter,
there's
executive
me.
producer.
And yeah, John Mars, co-producer. So that's cool. Now I know what he officially was. John Mars was our
He was the gun
also.
guy.
Yeah, he was also. I thought of him as our armorer mostly. Like he was like
Yeah.
the guy responsible anytime. And there were a lot of guns. So whenever there was a gun, John was there going over gun safety, and talking about where the actors should aim so that they're not aiming at an actual person, and stuff like that. So I thought of him as our armorer, but he got a co-producer credit. He's also in the movie, like in the opening scene. There's some cavalry stuff. There's William H. Macy who plays the major, and he's escorted by like 5 or 6 men in uniform on horseback, which includes John Mars, who got to give one line on screen of like parade left or something, and cool, good for him.
Yeah. Y'all had horses and guns. I mean,
We had horses and guns. Yes,
this must have been a pretty large
guns,
budget.
We had a tarantula. We had a snake.
yeah.
We had mules. We had actors.
Define
we had all
large
kinds of
budget,
animals.
Erwin. What is a large budget to you? What does that mean?
I'm thinking 2-3 million.
Wow. Okay. Well, no.
That is not a large budget.
Okay. Well, to me, that's a massive budget. $3 million seems like a lot.
I think in the scale of the way films are produced these days.
Yeah.
That is not a lot.
But
we had a fraction of that.
Wow.
Yeah,
but
it's got horses, it's got knives, it's got guns, it's got bullet wounds, it's got blood, it's got torture scenes, we got gun battles. I think you'll like it, and it looks very good, like the visually, like
oh yeah, this looks better than what you paid for sure.
Yeah, in terms of and a lot of that credit goes right here to Maxime Alexandre, who did wonderful work. And really, if you go watch any of his movies, he did Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland back in the aughts, or I think it was in the aughts, or maybe like late aughts into the early teens. I think that movie's got some serious plot issues, but visually it's very good. And like if you look at Maxine's movies, visually they're very good. He doesn't do the writing, so don't talk to him about plot. But
never talk to a cinematographer about plot.
Yeah,
it never helps.
Well, if you made a movie with horses and guns and it looks great, that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks really, really
good.
There
you are. Look at that. Casting and continuity. Danny Gorning.
I should have added Avery as the trainee.
Yeah.
She can also add herself.
There's your Mr. Mars.
Yeah, there he is as armorer. So, anyway.
Wait, John Mars is not...
It's
not someone here, is it?
What, John Mars? He's also up here. What's your question?
Oh, no. John Mars is not another name for John Lamont, is it?
No.
No, that's not his name. I don't know what
John Lamont. John Lamont had no role in the making of this particular film.
I think
John Lamont was busy making budgets for homeowners associations.
That's awesome. By the way,
look at you paying rent like an adult.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know. Palace of the Golden Princess #1 relaunch is around $4,300 on Kickstarter.
Yeah, it's doing gangbusters,
which is pretty good. I know John's gonna make. I'm curious how much John's gonna make, because this is an issue 1. And look, I've been around this particular block. For me, and maybe John Lamont is going to be different, but for me, new series issue 1 is not like the numbers on issue 5 of the last series.
Yeah, I'm it would be nice, but I'm not. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
I mean,
Indeed.
It is a quasi sequel, but I'm still not expecting a whole lot from a brand new issue 1.
Oh,
I'm
you have
actually,
issue 1.
I'm really watching your campaign closely, Preston, because I've got a
Okay.
couple of projects that might do with a bit of a relaunch.
Yeah.
And for only the cost of a variant cover,
Yeah.
it's a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah, and
So
I was really
I have
happy with like the average because the rewards in this case, like usually, like past Kickstarters, you know, I've been able to do like printer tricks to make like rare, like there's no limited edition print runs on this one. It's all like I'm just selling what we get in comic stores, but the average backer is over $35. So I was
Are they
able to,
buying like full series packages?
yeah, they're like a lot of like they want the 4-issue package, which is you know, right around $40, I want to say. And you get all 4 covers plus, you know, digital rewards and stuff. And for a lot of people, that's worth it. And for 100 and and I throw in 2 random comics from my own back issue vault. So hooray. And then for 119, you get all 4 covers plus the 2 hot artists, Mike Crome and Scott Harbin, in Virgin Metal covers, plus like a 6-pack of my back issues and a folio with a metal cover from Palace. And that one's been a popular reward. So those are like the 2 rewards that people like. But out of those 2 reward tiers, like, you know, most of them involve comic books that were already printed, you know, with the exception of the metal covers. So hooray, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems. I mean, you've built up this very, very large following. It seems like, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's because you produce really good work.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't feel large to me. I mean, when I'm sure, like to you, you look at it, you're like, well, that seems like a lot of people. But when you're in the field of comic books, this is not really that many people. There are a lot of people who put together some way bigger numbers than me, including John Lamont. And we'll see how he does.
Wow.
John's got a project launching as well. I don't
He
know.
does.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that.
So John, why
I
don't you
think
tell us
Harpies
about
is
it?
likely to do well.
Yeah. John's not here. All right. Well, when he gets
Sorry
back.
about that. I'm back.
John,
Are you there?
Erwin wanted to know about your next comic book.
Yeah, probably going to launch end of January or early February, depending on how things go. But yeah, basically it's a crossover of Angel of Darkness, Spirit of the Dragon, kind of a quasi sequel. Gonna be lots more TNA. And
My last 2 stories just didn't have enough. We've got to increase more.
yes. I mean, literally, it's page 1, panel 1, giant titties.
Tits, just tits.
Well, I'm quite looking forward to seeing the art because I
Yeah.
was able to give some notes on the layouts, so I
Okay.
hope the book is going to read better.
So
I'm real excited about that.
Uh-huh.
How did the art turn out? I guess I'll find out soon enough, John.
Yeah.
I posted a couple things on the Discord.
Okay, was that in November or December?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still getting it's still with the colorist. That's the main thing I'm waiting for is the colors aren't done yet.
Oh, I mean, whatever. I'm more interested in the line art, so I'll go check that stuff out.
I don't think I posted a lot of the line art. But if you are in the Dropbox, I don't know if I have the Dropbox
I think
folder
I
here?
am. I've been like most of the other comics I've been working on lately have just been like wrapping Palace of the Golden Princess. We had to do a couple of edits for the trade paperback. Just shipped another one today for a spelling mistake, and just like making sure the trade feels more like a trade and less like a collection of issues slapped together. So it's going to be really good.
Speaking of which, when does that come to market?
Well, I mean, issue 5 probably needs to launch first.
Yes.
I would guess. So after that,
Okay.
I mean, unless Preston's pulling it
everything's
on
going
and
to be
doing the
launched
post
in
line.
turn, right? Like issue 1 is up now, and after that, I'm going to relaunch issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, you know. So yeah. We'll see how
Okay.
it goes.
I'll post a few pages from Blues and Breast Milk as soon as soon. As soon as I get to I had there were a couple of typing errors, a couple of typos that needed to be corrected, but
I do offer inexpensive editing services.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Well, let's send me your plan or what your
I'll
whatever
send
it
you a
is.
DM if you need an assist. Let me know. If you don't, that's cool too.
Okay, yeah. It's always great to get another, professional set of eyes on the thing. So yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
All right. Well, with all that time spent over the holidays, it seems like the only person who got any writing done was Dracus.
Yeah, because he
Yeah.
hasn't dealt with any art yet.
So we only have one script today, which is probably a fairly brief evening. But I gotta say, already, look at that. See, he's taking notes. We'll fade in, left justified, all caps, block with a colon. Good job. Good job. Other people, including previous scripts from him, had fade in over here, but no, it's left justified.
It is.
By
All right,
convention.
so who's reading this thing? I'm happy to.
Go ahead.
All right. First script of the year, Draco. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Fade in. Exterior suburban Seattle, early morning. A quiet, idyllic suburban street. The sky is painted in soft hues of orange and pink. Sprinklers click and hiss. Birds chirp, and the faint hum of a distant garbage truck can be heard. A jogger in a bright tracksuit runs past what? Headphones in, oblivious to the early morning calm starting to fray at the edges. Okay.
Why is it fraying at the edges?
I mean, he's also just running past nothing.
Yeah.
Interior, Shepard's house. Kitchen continuous. John Shepard, a man in his early 40s with a grizzled, no-nonsense demeanor, sits at the kitchen table. His coffee mug is chipped, filled with a steaming black liquid. On the table lies an unfolded newspaper.
I gotta say, excellent job avoiding the passive voice for the most part.
Yeah,
good work.
The headline reads, "Violence in Beijing, bizarre attacks spreading." There's a grainy photo of a man in rags lunging at another. Okay. Shepard doesn't react, his face unreadable. The sound of a cheap TV filters in from the adjoining living room. TV anchor.
Yeah, no official comment from authorities on what some are calling a global health crisis.
Claire, late 30s, her beauty weathered by years of quiet strength. That is not... Okay, whatever. Enters with their daughter, Lily. The child's hair is messy, her stuffed rabbit dangling from one hand.
And I just want to say, just quick technical note. All right, we're meeting these people for the first time. John Shepard, Claire, Lily. That should all be capital block letters.
Right,
and everyone, you want to do Claire?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Coffee again? It eats your stomach alive.
Shepard doesn't look up, his attention on the paper. Someone needs to be John Preston.
Everything eats you alive if you let it.
Claire sighs. Lily toddles over to Shepard, holding out the stuffed rabbit like an offering. Why are you calling him Shepard in the action lines, but calling him John in the dialogue?
That's a good question.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't. You're confusing people for no reason. And these people are people who might make decisions like, should I buy this script?
Yeah. Who's Lily?
Daddy? Mr. Fuzzy says you should come with us.
Shepard glances down at her, his stoic mask cracking just a little. He kneels, taking the rabbit and placing it gently on the table.
And if I came, who would protect Mr. Fuzzy from the big bad coyotes?
Lily giggles.
Coyotes don't like rabbits, Daddy.
Not when you're around to tell them off.
Claire sets a plate of toast on the counter, watching the exchange. There's warmth in her gaze, but also unease.
You could come for a few days. No one's going to break into this place.
Shepard straightens, his expression hardening.
And if someone does, I don't trust anyone to do my job.
Your job? You're not in the Corps anymore, John.
He doesn't reply, sipping his coffee instead. Interior, living room, later. Shepard sits on the worn couch, tying his boots. The TV flickers with shaky cell phone footage of chaos. Streets full of people running. A man staggering with blood dripping from his mouth. A woman screaming. The news ticker at the bottom reads unexplained attacks spreading across East Asia. CDC monitoring closely. The news cuts to a live press conference. A grim-faced government official speaks into a cluster of microphones.
There's no need to panic. Everything is under control.
Shepard clicks the TV off, shaking his head.
Same song, different verse.
Exterior, Shepard's house, driveway, morning. Shepard loads Claire and Lily's luggage into the back of his truck. The air feels heavier now. How are you going to draw that?
I don't know.
With an edge of unease. Across the street, a neighbor pounds a for sale sign into the ground. Claire leans against the truck, arms crossed.
You're not invincible, John.
Never said I was.
You act like it.
Lily hugs his leg, looking up at him with wide, innocent eyes.
Daddy, we'll miss you.
He crouches, pulling her into a tight hug.
Miss you more.
Claire softens, brushing a strand of Lily's hair from her face.
We'll call as soon as we land.
Shepard nods.
You better.
Shepard drives towards the airport. The radio buzzes with static before a station comes in clearly.
Reports of isolated attacks in several U.S. cities. Authorities urge calm.
Shepard switches. Wait, they're all together? They just said goodbye. They're all driving in the car together? That's awkward.
That does seem strange. They said their goodbyes ahead of time so that when they got to the airport, they could
can
get out.
die immediately by zombies. They've already said
Yeah, they wouldn't have to worry about the zombies. I already said their goodbye.
Yeah, the writer is showing.
Yeah.
And who in 2024 is listening to staticky radio?
Yeah, that's a good
I
point.
mean, the same people who actually watch TV. Jesus, what year?
Yeah. I mean, TV has mostly gone to digital.
And so has radio.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or satellite.
I watch both analog. I mean, listen to much. But anyways, sometimes at least.
Claire's line.
Yeah. Shepard switches it off, glances at Claire. Is it serious?
It's serious enough to keep people glued to their TVs.
You don't believe them.
I believe I've heard it all before.
Exterior, airport drop off. Later. The airport is a hive of activity, but there's something off. Like what? Tell us. Travelers move faster than usual. Like, are you just trying to say you want to shoot this at a Dutch angle? Dude. Yeah. Travelers move faster than usual, some glancing nervously at the news screens overhead. Shepard helps unload the bags. He embraces Claire tightly, lingering longer than usual. How do we know what's usual?
Stay safe, okay?
You too.
Lily reaches for him and he lifts her into his arms.
Daddy, you promise you'll come visit soon?
He presses his forehead to hers.
As soon as I can, Lily Bean.
Claire takes Lily's hand, leading her towards the terminal after this redundant goodbye. Shepard watches them go, his jaw tight. Interior, Shepard's truck, parking lot. Minutes later, Shepard sits in the driver's seat, staring at the terminal. The radio crackles back to life.
Unconfirmed reports suggest the outbreaks are spreading faster than anticipated. The CDC urges caution.
A plane roars overhead. Shepard grips the wheel tightly. Is he driving? Is he driving the truck or is he just sitting in his truck? Because I thought he starts the engine. Okay, whatever. He starts the engine and drives off. Blah blah blah. Here we go. The airport looms in the background, an unspoken promise of chaos to come.
All right, wait, hold up. This should
Fade
be fade 2.
No, we're done.
Fade out.
We're done.
Okay.
Short film.
Fade 2.
Okay, the end. Bye,
Yeah.
everyone.
All right.
Exterior.
Actually, just cut it all together. You don't need it.
Yeah,
I
also
know.
true.
The edit,
Yes.
the director and the editor will decide how the scenes blend together, not you.
Yeah.
Exterior Seattle suburbs, late morning. The suburban street looks unchanged at first glance. Quiet, serene. But now there's an underlying tension. How are we going to see that? A jogger has stopped running. It's just a jogger. Looking at their phone with furrowed brows. A few neighbors stand in clusters, murmuring to each other, stealing glances at the sky.
All right, hold up. There's a note I want to give, which is an important note because it's a universal note, and universal notes are really important because they apply every single time you're writing, and that's that screenplays are written in the present. So it is not correct to say a jogger has stopped running. You could say a jogger stops running. That's fine. But somewhere in the past, a jogger stopped running. That's great. What do we see? Do we see a jogger stop running? Okay. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
Or the jogger stands looking at his phone.
Yeah, also fine. You know, but a
and
jogger stop running
likewise,
is not correct.
And this applies to both comics and screenplays. Just tell us what we see. Don't tell us how things are different. We don't know how it's different because we haven't seen it before. It's in your head. So just tell us what we see.
All right, we got a thumbs up here. You should come on sometime when you say that.
He should come on.
Oh yeah.
We should stop reading his scripts until Leslie comes on.
Well, but then we wouldn't have anything to read, so he's kind of got us over a barrel.
Fine, I'll bring some more vagina gun next week.
Oh, can't wait. All right.
A pair of crows squabble, should be squabbles because a pair is a singular noun.
Yes.
Over scraps on the pavement. Scraps of what? Scraps of paper, scraps of pizza, scraps of rat, scraps of human face.
There we go.
Tell us what they're squabbling over so we can film it. They're cawing sharpened. Well, are they squabbling or are they cawing? Okay, whatever. Interior shepherd's truck, continuous. John Shepard drives through the familiar streets, scanning his surroundings. His truck is old but reliable. I'm glad you're describing the truck after we've already seen it for 3 pages.
Yeah.
A few dents on the fender telling stories of wear and use. The radio crackles faintly, struggling to find a station. Dude, radios are so cheap.
Multiple confirmed incidents in Portland, San Francisco, and Chicago. Authorities urge citizens to stay indoors.
But all right, is it realistic to say if society were coming apart that you would get crackly radio, or is that unrealistic?
Indeed slightly realistic.
Yeah.
However, I'm pretty sure Draco has just lived through the same pandemic we all did.
Yeah.
And while an anchor may say something like that, you're way more likely to get a talk show talking about how the pandemic isn't happening.
Yeah.
That would actually be a lot more interesting too.
That would be. If there was like this, if I saw someone go, this is all bullshit, that would be.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
I was like, you can't do a zombie movie anymore because now a zombie movie is someone pointing out the window, looking at a field full of zombies and saying, "There's no zombies out there."
Yeah.
That's how you have to do it now.
Well, and if I might, since talking about talk shows, like one of the opening scenes in Blade Trinity was literally a talk show talking about how vampires don't exist.
Yes, that is true.
So like that could totally work in or do a podcast where they're debating whether or not, they should follow the CDC directions or not, and you can create some drama in the radio that will help propel
like it's cute that the radio anchor and the radio reporter, 2 different people.
I noticed.
No, and I'm okay with that because I see the direction here indicates it's 2 different people.
Yeah.
It's okay that they say different things, but what does Rush Limbaugh think?
Well, he's dead.
Well, fine. What does Alex Jones think?
All right, sure, yeah.
Because that's what most people are going to be listening to on the radio.
Yeah.
Radio is primarily AM for news, and it's also AM for shitty conservative talk show. And that is an entire wing of the discourse that you're overlooking right now. That's, as we have recently discovered, really quite important to how the discourse overall ends up going.
Sure. But I mean, I want to say, like, I don't think people would deny a field full of zombies. I think zombies are way more apparent than like a virus or a bacteria. You know, something you can't see. You know, it's those are the things you can't see and experience for yourself are kind of tough. And in regards to COVID, do I even have it? Who knows? Like, you had to go get tested if you even had it. Like the idea that COVID was kind of made up is way easier to make than there are zombies tearing people apart in the streets and a whole horde of them.
I mean, I'm with you there, but the way zombie movies tend to go is people trusting the news and people staying inside and hearing about, like, I've seen the trailers and stuff. There's a new 28 Days film coming out. I mean, 28 Days is a lot of that, right? Like, that's the zombie trope, is you hear, you know, it's a global thing the same way Draco's introducing it here. And I don't think that trope lands as well as it used to. Just because reality has proven that it doesn't.
Yeah. Where are we?
Shepard glances at the radio. He flips the knob, switching to a local news station. We need a radio reporter. Erwin, do you mind?
We're getting more reports of violent attacks across the city. Law enforcement is overwhelmed, and hospitals are reaching capacity.
Shepard cuts the radio off with a sharp twist of the dial, muttering to himself.
Same day, or same crap, different day.
Exterior grocery store parking lot. Later, the parking lot is unusually crowded. How do we know what's usually crowded? Huh? Like, okay, so I'm just going to say this because I need to say this. You've done this for every location you've written for this.
Yeah,
this is unusually this. This is unusually that. This is unusually that. That's nice. However, we don't know what usual is. So why the fuck are you telling us it's unusual?
I just want to point out
what is unusual.
Yeah, I just want to point out. I know people think I'm really silly about changing it from passive to active, but let's look at this sentence right here. The parking lot is unusually crowded. If we were to change that to active,
for example, Shepard enters an unusually crowded parking lot.
Yes, that would work. Or if we just want to describe the parking lot itself, we wouldn't describe the parking lot as much as a large crowd, and then we'd probably have to describe the crowd. Are they hungry? Are they freaked out? Are they frenzied? What, like a frenzied crowd gathers in the parking lot outside the door looking inside. Like, that's a better
10,000 cars honk at each other in the busy parking lot.
Yeah, like, those are better sentences than a parking lot is unusually crowded. Just pointing it out.
Cars are parked haphazardly, some left with doors ajar.
Then they're not doors anymore.
Oh, they're jars.
Yeah.
Shepard steps out of his truck. Where? Is he in the parking lot? Does he walk from across the street? Does he drive through the cars? Does he just keep the truck going and jump out? People
no, he steps out. He doesn't jump out.
Oh, you're right.
It clearly says he steps out.
He steps out of his moving truck, scanning the scene. People are rushing in and out of the store, carts overflowing with supplies. A woman stumbles out, her arms filled with canned goods, nearly dropping them as she glances nervously over her shoulder. A man pushes past her, gripping a bag of bottled water like it's gold. Wait, why does the guy after her have a bag and she doesn't? What the hell?
And who's got all the toilet paper?
Yeah.
There's got to be somebody with a cart full of toilet paper.
We just lived through a pandemic.
Yeah.
If you didn't pay attention, like, go back and see what all the news is about. Like, it wasn't that long ago.
I mean, if you're hungry, you can go out and shoot squirrels, but you're not going to wipe your butt with squirrels.
I mean, you can.
You're not going to wipe your butt with squirrels.
Yeah.
What, you're
Speak for yourself, Sean.
What? It's all goose or nothing with you?
Yeah.
But that was a literary reference.
Yeah.
I got a storage unit full of Costco toilet paper.
There you go.
Interior grocery store continuous. Inside, the aisles are chaos. They just are, like, the abstract concept of chaos. Shelves are being cleared out in frantic waves. Shepard walks through, his boots crunching on scattered debris, discarded wrappers, broken glass, a lone box of cereal crushed underfoot. Okay.
Except for there's one row of the all organic section and no one's there.
Yo,
And
at
it's
those
completely
prices,
stopped.
just go to Walmart.
Yeah.
A middle-aged man in a yellow store uniform stands behind the counter yelling over the din. Erwin, you want to be the store manager?
Folks, please, one item per person. We'll restock tomorrow.
The crowd ignores him. Shepard weaves through the madness, keeping his expression neutral. Because he doesn't express feelings, we can't have a protagonist do that. He picks up a half-empty basket in this shockingly orderly supermarket and begins grabbing essentials. Canned food, bottled water, first aid supplies.
Wait, they're going to be the first things to go. Like, by this point, I would expect them to be gone by now.
Well, yeah, but you didn't write this film.
Yeah,
apparently
good point,
not.
John.
So
You did not write
you
this
can take your logic and fuck right off, John.
Exactly.
All right, save it for the crits.
Yeah. Come on, lady. Or is it
At
man
the far
time?
end of the aisle, a mother clutches her toddler, shielding him as another man tries to snatch her last loaf of bread.
Come on, lady. You don't need all of
it.
Get away from me.
The toddler begins to cry, his high-pitched wail cutting through the chaos. Shepard glances over, his jaw tightening. He shakes his head and moves on. Like, he just leaves? He doesn't even pay? He just leaves? What a dick! Yeah, okay, exterior. Shepard loads the supplies into his truck, keeping one eye on the growing tension around him. A fight breaks out near the store entrance. Two men are grappling. What's wrong with just two men grapple? Anyways, over a bag of rice. One man shoves the other into a parked car, setting off the alarm.
Well, then they're not grappling; they're fighting.
Shoving?
Yeah.
Grappling usually implies they're on the ground, rolling around.
No. You can absolutely do standing grappling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
John has a line.
It's starting already.
He slams the tailgate shut and climbs into the truck. So wait, can we just same shit, different day, starting already? How many zombie outbreaks has John lived through?
And if he knew this was happening, why didn't he get on the airplane with his wife and kid?
Why is he so nonchalant about what living in was about to be a horrifying suburb during a zombie outbreak? Like, anyways, we're saving this for the crits.
Yes.
Interior, Shepard's truck. Shepard pulls out of the parking lot. I thought it was all chaos. Why did someone double park it? Why does he get to leave so conveniently?
Yeah.
Maneuvering carefully around the growing clusters of people. Why does he care about the people? He didn't care about the woman. Whatever. Okay. He glances at his gas gauge. It's half full.
I guess he's going to have no problem getting
Turn
gas.
it off. The radio's not magical. You have to turn it on. It has an electrical switch, and he turned it off.
National Guard units are being deployed to assist in major cities. Repeat, stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel.
Also, he was on the local news station when he turned it off, so I don't know why he's on the national one now.
Yeah.
Shepard grips the steering wheel tightly, his jaw clenching. He looks at the road ahead, his mind clearly racing.
They never say it's that bad until it's too late.
How many zombie outbreaks? I am fucking serious. The truck rumbles down the street, leaving the chaos behind. Oh, the end.
Good sentence. I like that one. Yeah.
But now there's no more chaos. We can just end the film conveniently here. Yeah. Exterior, Seattle outskirts, noon. Shepard passes the city limits. The houses become more spaced out, giving way to open fields and patches of forest. But even here, the unease is spreading. What? Another fucking jogger? How many joggers are there?
During
like, also, the Seattle outskirts are a mountain.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
A lone jogger sits on the curb, breathing heavily.
A lone jogger sits on the curb, breathing heavily, clutching their side. Their face is pale, beads of sweat dripping down their temple. Shepard slows the truck slightly, glancing at them as he passes. Why? It's a jogger having sweat.
Yeah.
And your pronouns are...
Fine, it's a trans jogger having sweat.
No, he's a he. Maybe he's gender fluid and decides to be a he by the last sentence.
Shepard is a he. He's the one who's passing.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
but wait, jogger. It
The
might
jogger
be.
looks up. Their eyes glassy. Blood is smeared across their chin.
Uh-oh. Looks like the jogger's a zombie.
Oh no. Well, John has a line.
What the hell?
The jogger suddenly stands and stumbles toward the truck. Arms
Uh-oh.
outstretched. Shepard presses the gas, pulling away, oh my god, as far as he can, as fast as he can. In the rearview mirror, the jogger collapses to their knees, then begins crawling toward the road. Interior Shepard's truck continuous. Shepard grips the wheel, his breathing shallow. The unease that's been simmering since the morning now bubbles to the surface. Has he been uneasy? He's been a stoic mask of nothing. He has expressed literally no unease in this 9 pages nearly. And so saying that it's there when it hasn't been is a lie. He reaches for his phone and dials Claire's number. It rings once, twice, then goes to voicemail. Because she's on a fucking plane.
Yeah.
He just dropped her off at the airport. Obviously, she's on a plane.
Who's
Hi.
Claire?
This is Claire. Sorry I missed your call. Leave a message.
Shepard ends the call before the beep, staring at the road ahead.
Something's wrong.
Fade out.
Fade out, fade in. Oh man, why you do this to me?
I mean, at least you did it right on page 1.
Yeah.
And frankly, at this point, he's better off telling a story that makes sense.
Yes.
Exterior Shepard's house, afternoon. The house looks the same as always, quiet and unassuming. But now the stillness feels heavier, unnatural. The faint buzz of cicadas in the distance adds to the eerie atmosphere. Are cicadas eerie?
They can be.
Okay.
Well, I mean, mostly it's their chittering, which it really provides like most of the noise in like a jungle setting, or and for that matter, Texas in the spring, like
it's fair. Like, I like the sound, but like they're not eerie to me. They're like populated.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that's just me. Interior Shepard's house, kitchen continuous. Shepard enters the house, the kitchen, carrying the groceries. Oh, so he just got home.
Yes.
He just shows a picture of a house instead of showing the truck pulling up to the house.
Good
point. Job. Car stunts are expensive.
Yes.
Shepard enters carrying the groceries. He sets the bags on the counter, pausing to glance out the window. The street is unusually quiet. Is it? Because the street has always been unsettling. And telling us otherwise is just lying to your audience. There are no kids playing. We have now run out of joggers, thankfully.
The one jogger. There was only one.
No, there was 2. And there's no dog walkers. So there were never any kids. There was never any dog walkers. There was 2 different joggers. So the street's unusually quiet. No joggers. Just an unsettling emptiness. What's unusual is that there's no joggers. Shepard shakes his head, forcing himself to focus on what? He starts unpacking the bags. He has to focus on putting away the groceries. This man is an adult. The TV
He's got PTSD from the military.
Is still on, muted, but the headlines scrolling across the screen catch his eye. Violence escalates in U.S. cities. CDC urges caution. Did he turn off the TV before? I don't want to check, but just FYI, you should check. He freezes, staring at the screen.
What the hell's going on? I mean, the
thing is, why did he ask that the first time?
I feel like he should know. For that matter, I feel like the TV shouldn't go violence escalates. It should say zombies attack. Right?
I mean, what station is it?
Yeah.
It should look like a chyron from the station you're acting like it is.
Yeah.
Interior, Shepard's living room, continuous. Shepard grabs the remote and turns up the volume. A news anchor speaks. Her tone urgent but carefully controlled.
We've received confirmation of multiple incidents of extreme violence across the country. Officials are urging citizens to remain indoors and avoid public places.
Weren't people saying that before?
They've been saying that all day.
The screen cuts to shaky cell phone footage. A crowded street in Portland. A man stumbles into the frame, his clothes soaked in blood. He lunges at a bystander, tearing into their neck. Isn't that a thing you showed us before, except it was happening in China? Screams erupt. The camera shakes violently before cutting out. Shepard leans forward, his eyes narrowing.
While officials have yet to comment on the cause, eyewitness accounts describe the attackers as...
The power cuts out. For a moment, there's nothing but silence. Shepard sits frozen, his gaze fixed on the now blank TV screen. Does the radio turn on?
Damn it.
Oh, the radio's about to turn on. Sweet. I guessed it.
Damn it.
Preston?
I said damn it.
Okay. Interior, Shepard's garage. Moments later, the garage is cluttered but organized. Pick a lane. Tools hang on the walls. A dusty workbench sits against the far side. Shepard flips open a toolbox and pulls out a flashlight. He tests it, the beam flickering weakly before stabilizing. He checks a nearby cabinet, pulling out a small battery-powered radio. As he fiddles with the dials, static fills the room.
Repeat. We urge everyone to remain indoors. Do not engage with individuals showing signs of aggression. Contact emergency services if necessary.
All right, 10 pages.
10 pages.
10 pages. Well, this felt like a zombie story, and that is a very popular genre, as John Lamont can tell you. John, when you go to conventions, do you sell more zombie books or more?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Zombie
Angel of
books.
Darkness remains my clear seller in conventions.
Yeah, people love that stuff. So you picked a popular genre. If that's a played out genre, you would have to tell me where sales were declining, because every zombie movie I see is doing great. You know, you've even got like comedy zombie movies like Shaun of the Dead. It has.
Well, don't you mention Shaun of the Dead in the same breath as this fucking script.
Okay.
I'm gonna have some comments about
that. All right. Danny feels your script needs some work, which
but this is successfully ish the beginning of a zombie movie.
Mm-hmm.
A zombie outbreak is clearly imminent in 10 pages.
Mm-hmm.
In 10 pages, you have certainly made a zombie outbreak imminent.
Yes. And introduced a main character who has a family that he cares about.
That he presumably cares about.
Well, he said he cares about. He hugged his daughter. You know.
He cares about. He doesn't care enough to fly away with them.
Well, there was that. But,
and you haven't yet told us why.
Yeah.
That.
But now we're dealing with threats. So let's move on and say nice things, John.
Irvin. Yeah. Right. Yeah, John.
Nice things.
It's not nice things, it's positive things. Surely there's something you liked about it. As the creator of Angel of Darkness, what do you got?
Let's see. So I think focusing on one person is always good when you're trying to establish something like this. Because a lot of times, a lot of amateur writers will throw a dozen characters at you all at once, and in a new story, I always comment that that's kind of confusing. It's best to, and actually, I think you did that in one of your earlier drafts too. Now that I think about it,
you being
so, no. I mean Draco.
You being Draco. Okay.
Yeah. So I think starting out introducing one character, and then as that character navigates the world, then we get introduced to the other characters, is a smarter way to go.
Yes.
Otherwise you get really, really confused really quickly with too many characters. So
Erwin?
Yeah,
nice
I'm not into zombie movies, but so what's keeping my interest is the fact that he does seem at first like a little too calm about the situation. Like, what is he, some sort of super zombie expert, or is he just does he lack feelings? Is he a psychopath or something? Or, does he love killing zombies? I'm kind of curious what exactly is going on. Exactly, it all connects to like, why is he staying there just to protect the house? Like, who cares about the house, right? Like your life, your kid's gonna miss you when you turn into a zombie, right? So why is he there? So in some sense, the fact that we don't know what's going on is actually what's keeping me interested. I also like the little bit of sort of the little bit of conflict between the husband and wife at the beginning. It became a little bit more overt and, therefore less intriguing as the pages, as we got to like page 5 or whatever. But yeah, those were the things that were interesting to me.
All right, constructives. Yeah, I feel like you could do more in 10 pages than just tell us there's a zombie outbreak and this guy loves his kids. So you should. There was a lot of time spent telling us what an audience would get very quickly. Like, audiences have seen zombie outbreaks. At this point, for that matter, they've been through a pandemic. So there's a lot of experience that you don't have to tell people because they've already kind of aware of it. Therefore, you can be they can get that necessary information on far fewer pages, far fewer scenes. They understand that, oh yes, zombies are attacking. That could be for that. Like, you could really just do like a radio thing, or even just a newspaper headline, because we lost radio communication when society collapsed a few weeks ago, and the only thing that shows society even existed are the newspapers that are still in the little boxes where you can buy them. It says, zombies attack, world collapses into something. Right? And now we understand. And how many pages did that take you? Like,
I really liked that movie. It was called 28 Days Later.
Sure. Yeah, whatever. I mean, like, there's plenty of ways to show that society is collapsing and the zombies are upon us. And once you've told us that, where else does your story going to go? And so here you did it in 10 pages, and I think you could do it in a lot less.
So I have 2 crits. The first is that you are clearly leaning into 28 Days and Shaun of the Dead, while being obviously worse than both of those.
Harsh.
Which is a problem, because I do think you made a good decision to focus on one character. Shaun of the Dead does it. It's a really effective movie, and it really effectively sells a zombie outbreak and how one character deals with it in their life. And 28 Days Later does that as well, and has one character and how they deal with the zombie outbreak in their life and what they want to do. And so you're on the right path, except you're not really adding anything to the conversation. And you're kind of echoing a conversation that's already happened, when, unlike the creators of those films, you've lived through a pandemic recently and could actually add something to the conversation, whether it's based on your personal experience or whatever. So I would like to see anything that involves our main character reacting to any of this stuff that's happening in a lot fewer pages than you use. Moreover, nothing happens. There is no inciting incident. The zombie outbreak is already happening. Our character's arc has not yet begun in 10 pages. His kids leave, and his kid leaves, his wife leaves, he drives back, he sees a jogger who may have just eaten a squirrel or a human being. We don't know where the blood came from. And then just goes home, and then finally realizes that all of the obvious giant flags waving in front of his face in the last 10 minutes have been a zombie outbreak that he's suddenly shocked about while being the most blasé person ever. Weird. I mean, sorry, what did Draco post? I didn't see that.
So he was a tier 1 operator before he retired.
Okay. How many zombie outbreaks has he lived through before?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Preston and John are going to be easily able to answer this, but I'm going to pop quiz them. What are the things you do when you need to show how a character does character stuff?
Usually motivation. What do they want, and how are they going about getting it?
Yep.
But I was gonna
So you
mention
explain
why
that
that
you
when
have
it
been
becomes
talking
my
about what
turn,
you
I was
want,
gonna go into that.
or you show them making a decision, right? Or you put
Right.
them in a no-win situation. They have to either say it or you have to see it. And our guy doesn't care about other people, as we could tell from what he just let some dude fight some mother over a piece of bread. He is somehow magically able to escape chaotic parking lots. He won't talk to strangers, or indeed even his wife, and ignores everything in the world around him. That's what you've told us about our protagonist, and frankly, that's a weak protagonist for a zombie movie until someone tells us that those are their flaws. So you need to characterize your character better. And maybe like if they were internally motivated anyway, that would solve a bunch of problems. But from what you've given us, they're not. So that's how I would recommend refiguring this whole thing. Have it be about John or Shepard or whatever the hell his name is, and his decisions and all the problems he's made for his own life. Because otherwise, you don't actually have a character. John, hopefully you still have something left to say.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to start off by saying, in the first 10 pages during a zombie outbreak, our hero, our main character, has absolutely no conflict. I mean, the whole supermarket scene, he goes into a super crowded parking lot, has no trouble finding a parking space, goes inside where the shelves are being cleared out, has no problem getting his canned goods, his toilet paper, and his bottled water, while other people are clearly having trouble fighting and getting into fights over rice and bread. He has absolutely no trouble getting his supplies. He goes out to his car, loads up his car, and has absolutely no trouble getting out of the parking lot. So I don't know if you ever went grocery shopping during the pandemic, but that never happened. Like, that is just crazy. So anyway, that was not my point. I just wanted to kind of touch on that first because it's indicative of this entire thing where he literally has no conflict. He has nothing to overcome. We don't know what he wants. We don't know why he's not going with them. And if you have some great reason why he can't leave the house, well, we know this is a zombie apocalypse. We know that going into it. Nobody's watching this movie, going into this movie, is going to be surprised that, oh, look, it's a zombie movie. So that means that whatever the reason he's not going with them has to be a damn good one. And I kind of feel like we need to know what that is. Whatever, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a great one. Like, he's stockpiling like the world's supply of the cancer cure in his basement, and he can't leave it. But we need to know why it's important to him, why he's not leaving. Of course, you could do the other thing too, which is a little tropey, and that is maybe he and his wife aren't getting along, and she's leaving to go. She's leaving and might not come back. And
I want to say though, I feel like modernly women feel more empowered to go, I don't feel like I'm being listened to and respected, so I'm going to leave this relationship. And that's all cool. But when society collapses and there are zombies eating people, having a man around can be helpful. So I feel like they probably shouldn't be breaking up here. Like her sense of self-preservation. Why are they leaving the man?
Maybe they were paying attention to the news.
Yeah.
And knew there's a zombie apocalypse coming.
Yeah. And
so,
yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. So if I so okay. So let's dial back and let's say nobody knows that it's a zombie apocalypse. The audience does because they know what movie they're going to watch. But let's say the characters don't know it's a zombie apocalypse. They think it's just a normal, ordinary day. But maybe that's what's going on. Maybe she's leaving him. They're having trouble. But if they're having marital issues, we didn't see that anywhere in these 10 pages. Because as I was going to say, it's a little tropey if they get separated. Then the zombie apocalypse happens, and then now he is on a journey to go find her, reconnect with her. Holy crap, she's on a 6-hour plane. And when the plane lands, the zombie apocalypse is going to be here. So I got to get to the airport to get to her before her plane lands. Now he has to travel across the country faster than an airplane in a car. There's some conflict. But anyway, so so going back to, I think Danny had a really, really interesting point. And I think if you dial it into the comedy, I think you can get away with it. Otherwise, if you play it too serious, you're going to probably piss off half your audience. But like, what if in the opening scene, two people, it's a podcast. He's watching a podcast. You have your Alex Jones versus your who's the other guys? Like your Joe Rogan, you know, the real calm guy talking to the real ecstatic guy, and they have a difference of opinion about something happening in a foreign country, about some viral outbreak. I mean, you can rip it straight from COVID, whatever, and just have these two sides going back and forth, you know, about it. Then it's kind of on the periphery. The audience will pick up on what it is, but you'll make it vague enough in the story, in the world, that our heroes don't know what's going on. And maybe he's engrossed in this podcast while he's making his sandwich. His wife comes in. They have a bit of an argument that escalates until the little girl wanders in, which of course then causes them to stop fighting because they don't want to fight around her. And then she says something like, we're leaving for the airport. Are you taking us to the airport, or am I calling a taxi? She could say something like that. Then we can cut to the airport. We can have another tense, awkward scene where he lets her go. They go onto the airplane. And then as he's driving home, then you start to build things locally where things start to get a little weird. You know, most of us know what a normal suburban town looks like. So you just tell us what's weird, what's going on. This person's acting a little sketchy, you know, maybe something going on with his neighbor. And then you build into it. So then by the 10th minute, then all of a sudden we know zombie apocalypse is going on. And our hero now has to do like, holy crap, you know, I got to get to wherever my wife and kid are going before they land, assuming that the pilot doesn't come down with zombieism and the whole plane crashes. But so I think that might be a little bit of a different take on it. If they're going by plane, that might be a little difficult. You could put him on a train because that might be easier for him to try to intercept a train than it would be an airplane.
He's in Seattle. Maybe they're going to Asia and he can just take like a boat.
But would he get there before the plane lands?
Well, I mean, that would be interesting. And then in the meanwhile, he's trapped on a boat. Dracula on a boat was an okay movie. Zombies on a boat would be an okay movie.
Yeah.
Shark zombies attack the boat. Anything.
So I think the main thing is we don't know who this character is, what he wants. We don't know why his wife is leaving. We don't know anything about any of this. And it just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. So characters are not behaving in a way that we expect somebody to behave in a groundswell of a national pandemic, when we know kind of how people behaved during that, kind of like what everybody else has been saying. We kind of borrow from what you know, and then just tweak it a little bit to make it your own and make it a little unique. That's all.
All right.
Yeah, I think, is it Draco? Draco, right?
Draco.
Okay. Well, I'm certain that Draco knows why this guy John is not freaking out, and why he's staying there.
At some point, he should tell us.
Yeah.
I think he should.
Why don't you just tell us more about what the street usually isn't?
Yeah, I think the reason why we're not getting as much information is because he has filled the first 10 pages with way too much radio and TV explanation of what we can already see is already going on, right? There's probably at least one page of dialogue that could be completely eliminated with
more than that,
just showing what's on the TV screen. Or, you know, if he's walking through a parking lot in which people are panicking, it may not need a narration from the radio announcer. And in fact, it would be more interesting that way, because the audience would be kind of wondering, you know, has it started yet, or are people just panicking over nothing? You know, I like not knowing. The minute I know exactly what's going on in a zombie or a sort of a genre, sort of like a typical genre type film, I lose a lot of interest. I want the mystery to be to be dragged on as long as possible. So I'm okay with this John character having an aura of mystery about him for the audience, but feed us more breadcrumbs. Fan the flames of our intrigue a little bit more. You know, give us some little hints. Give us some red herrings, some and so forth, so that we can sort of work our brains around it. And so how is this different? How is this John character different? I think the direction that Draco is going is that he is some sort of seasoned veteran of apocalypses or something like that, which could really add a lot of sort of interesting moments where, you know, he just, I don't know, he just does some, you know, jujitsu on these zombies, and he's completely, you know, unbothered by everything that's going on until something happens. And what that is probably should happen, I guess, around page 20 or 25, where it all starts to, you know, something really turns around for him, and he has to figure out how to rethink or how to change his approach to everything, or just to zombies, or maybe to his family life, or whatever. And so, yeah, I think there's potential here because of the the certain unusual aspects of the screenplay that we've seen so far. Yep.
All right. I think that's everybody. Next week, hopefully, I may even have some pages, or maybe John. Who knows?
I might. I was working on my script, and I decided to go backwards from the terrorist plot backwards. And when I started developing what the terrorist plot's going to be, it kind of didn't connect with the story that I had presented the last time we were on. So
that
I'm
happens
like,
when you actually, yeah.
So I'm like,
happens,
okay,
yeah.
so I might have to redo
when you do a bit of world building, sometimes you're like, oh, I have to change this.
Yeah, so I kind of like, I don't know how I want to do that, and then and how I want to make and how I'm going to make the characters unique and interesting, because that's the other problem too, is that because I kind of have an idea of what I want to do for the terrorist plot, but now I have to make my characters charismatic and interesting so that you want to actually, even though you're not rooting for them, you want to actually watch them. So that's another tricky thing that I'm going to see if I can pull off.
Just have them save a cat and all is well.
Saving a cat is always a good start.
There you go.
When you say next week, you mean 2 weeks from now, or what?
What's 2 weeks from now?
No, I was thinking next week.
Oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't know of anything that would stop us from streaming next week.
Oh no, the only reason is sometimes you've said next week and it's 2 weeks or whatever. But
well, usually that's because something happened, and we're in the holidays, but we're not in the holidays anymore. So next week is nothing special.
Very good. Well, don't watch out for those giant icicles over there up in Dallas.
I sure will.
All right.
Mom's worrying we might be snowed in. If so, then I'll get more writing done. Anyway. All right, next week. Oh, wait, we have a big note here from Dracus. So it was the purpose of them leaving was to visit her parents, and I actually had it on the last script that I had before. I rewrote it 2 different from his point of view in Seattle. So
it's a good thing you didn't tell us that, though.
Yeah.
And why isn't he going with them?
Yeah.
I still need to know that. Like, it makes no sense why he doesn't go with them unless they're having marital problems. And if they're having marital problems, we need to see that. And if they're not having marital problems, he clearly doesn't have a full-time job. So why is he not going with them?
Like, look, back in, pre-industrial times, even like the Old West, like late 1800s, sending your wife and child off by themselves to travel a great distance to go see a loved one was a pretty risky proposition without an escort. Now, modernly, they're just going to drive on the freeway and go to an airport and get on an airplane and fly there and then take an Uber, and it's all fine. All those are very controlled. But as society falls apart, well, those are no longer certain circumstances, and now we're kind of back in, well, maybe these people need some kind of protection because they're especially vulnerable. And the idea of it's a zombie apocalypse, hold on while I go fly and visit my mom. I don't know. That seems that scenario is contrary to the headlines you're showing me, I feel.
And like, I think it's been a while since I saw this movie because it wasn't that good. But War of the Worlds, when Tom Cruise and his daughter, I forget the actress's name, were in the minivan and they were surrounded by all those people, and he had the gun, but he didn't want to show it because he only had like 5 bullets, and he was driving through a crowd of people, and everybody in the crowd decided they wanted the car. So they start pounding on the glass and all of that. And I think that was when the first time he ever actually shot and killed somebody. I don't remember. I remember. And it was a very horrifying scene because you have this little girl vulnerable in the back seat who these people are breaking into the car. The glass is smashed. They're grabbing at her. They're pulling at her. And it's like, granted, the PG-13 emphasis on this scene is that they're trying to get to the car, but it's kind of a harrowing scene. And that's what causes him to brandish the gun. And I think he shoots somebody. But that's kind of what I think Preston is going at. It's like all of a sudden when it's like people start acting crazy in these types of situations. And even if you're not a single woman, if you're a single guy with a gun and you only have 6 bullets in it, that's not going to get you too far when you're in a panicking crowd of a mob.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about the possibility of the sort of bipolar debate about the sort of pandemic type situation playing out between the two parents. One parent could be like the really paranoid parent, and that could be the wife. She believes she hears something happening in, let's call it Bangkok or someplace a little bit more remote, or Phuket, Thailand, or something like that. And she starts freaking out, and she decides to go take her daughter and fly out to wherever, Vancouver. And the guy is like, you've been listening to too much so and so. this is all a conspiracy to make us, blah blah blah. I'm staying here. I'm gonna watch the the NFC Championship game, and enjoy myself. You guys go ahead. I'll take you to the airport, whatever. And all this chaos, the little hints start happening around him, and he ignores it all. People are grabbing up all the toilet paper. He doesn't care. He doesn't pay any. He doesn't think anything is going on. He just thinks people are freaking out over nothing, until finally on page 10 it hits him, and he realizes something, and he finally accepts that maybe something is going on. That might, having it play out between the two parents, I think might be interesting. Go ahead.
No, I think that's a good approach. And if by 10, when he finally comes to terms, now he has a character choice that he has to make, which is, oh shit, I just left my wife and kid go leave. And, I'm a retired tier 1 operator, whatever that means. And now I have to go and
it means he used to be part of the Joint Special Operations Command.
Yeah, well, Draco, it's good you know so much about his history, but maybe you can actually tell a story about it.
A good tropey way.
Operator,
yeah.
Why don't you tell us that in the script, or tell us that maybe he's ignoring calls from his army boss as this pandemic develops. Maybe there's any number of things he does that you spend this entire script telling us stuff instead of showing us stuff, and all you show us is that our protagonist doesn't care about other people.
Yeah.
So that's what you show us. So if you want to show us something else, maybe do that.
A tropey way I've seen it done a lot of times in films, when they want to show that this guy is an ex-retired special forces badass, is tattoos. He's got a tattoo of the name, the Semper Fi tattoo on him. Boom, done. Now we know he's a retired Marine badass. It's tropey, but it does, or he maybe his phone's ringing and his general's calling him, and so, I don't know.
His kid is playing with his Purple Heart.
There you go.
It's something. Just give us something. Maybe start with giving us something.
All right.
Do they get a flag, or do they have to die to get a flag?
I think you have to die to get a flag. You can buy a flag. You can just have a flag.
Well, maybe he's got a flag on his mantle or something, in the little case. Maybe it was his, But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if he has to die in order for his family to get it, but maybe it's his dad's, and that shows that he's a military man by history.
That could work.
Yeah.
It was Fifth Element. Bruce Willis had a phone conversation with a dude we never met.
Yeah.
In the opening,
used to be special forces by telling us they used to be special forces. Draco, this is a very important lesson about your screenplay writing, which is you don't tell the audience something, don't expect us to know it.
Yeah, it was dumb, but it was in the first 10 minutes. We have a conversation with a dude we never meet.
And then we watch him make a decision and see the consequences. So tell us about who our character is, which means you need to know who your character is, so you should probably work on that. And then have us watch him make a decision, and then let's have those decisions have consequences. Otherwise, there's no conflict. It's just a guy going through life dealing with stuff. And that's Shaun of the Dead, except Shaun of the Dead is about how he's not a guy who can just traipse through life while it happens around him. That's literally what Shaun of the Dead is about. Obviously it's funny. It's a comedy.
It's a rom-com. It's about a dude who's trying to get back with his ex-girlfriend.
But he established his problem, right? He's stuck in the past, and he's traipsing through life, not letting it affect him. And, that's what he has to overcome, is that.
But the dude abides.
That's a different movie.
All right.
All right.
next week. Hopefully, more scripts.
Cool.
Cool. Take care. Good night, everyone. Thanks
Good night,
so much
everybody.
for the zombie
Good night,
script,
y'all.
Dracos.
Thanks for
Good
having
night,
me.
Bye.
everybody.